Hello and welcome back. It finally is a little bit summer in Germany. That's kind of cool, but it's also a little bit warm in here. But here we are, back again. It's Thursday. Thursday means the English-speaking part of our sales inspiration and the last episode on sales mindset. I'm very, very sad about that. So sad, so sad. Nearly no more stuff on sales mindset. So that's certainly not true. I'm very happy. I'm kind of delighted that we finally can change the pace and go about different kind of stuff than sales mindset. So let me get you in on my thoughts and why I'm happy that we now switch gears. If you look in all that sales and marketing stuff, and especially in the business development world, where you start out more on like solopreneur, little entrepreneurs, when you're starting out, there's always this one story which people tell you. It's kind of the baseline of mindset matters most. In the end line, or like if you go down the road and even more years and years, you understand that's not really the truth, and you see the world on a different kind of point. But there is still that starting point that people are totally fascinated about mindset, and especially sales mindset, considering that sales is always kind of the last thing you think about and don't want to do and everything else. So that's kind of where that mythical creature, it's kind of like a unicorn thing, kind of mythical creature thing when you talk about mindset. And everyone kind of, yeah, I just have to change my mindset. I have to work on my mindset. And considering I saw the inside of a university and didn't only attend the math classes there or the finance classes, but also the psychology and especially human behavior stuff and that, you're like sitting there, some kind of like, I don't really want to know how a doctor feels because they always get asked, can you have a look at that? And I was like saying, yeah, that's not how that works. But there is a certain kind of fascination. And also there is truth in mindset work. The only thing which people normally don't tell you, it's that it's always just a stepping stone. It's a quick fix for stuff, for underlying problems in the world of sales. Not only there, but in every kind of world. It doesn't matter if you talk about money mindset or like even your mindset considering or change relationship. It doesn't matter. It's always a quick fix to get you in a certain kind of degree and mood to change something. But the real behavioral change and the real change happens through change, to doing different stuff and also working on the underlying issues. So that's why I'm happy that we're finally at the end of our quick fixes and we can move on and get epic. Let's do epic shit. If we know each other, I don't know if you know me, but someone once told me I'm a big badass with a big heart, and sometimes I swear a little bit too much. I don't think I swear that much, but it's always, the point of view. But if you want to do epic shit, and especially I think your company, your business, or whatever you do is already epic, so it's about getting up the next step. So the next step about doing epic shit and tell that your clients or your future clients and get them on board to do stuff with you together. And as long as you're stuck on the mindset and all that quick fixes, what's the problem with quick fixes? If you ever had kind of a little bit of a, like, say, medical issue or so, you know what's going to happen if you like put on a bandage, but don't clean out the wound, or put bandage or bandage or bandage, not gonna heal, not gonna help. And we're gonna proceed with sales mindset a little bit, but we're looking now at the underlying issues, and especially we'll look at that, what is necessary, which kind of skill set is necessary to get your clients to really buy from you with ease, with fun, not being salesy and all that stuff. What is necessary for that? So while sales mindset and all that mindset stuff has a certain degree of fascination and is kind of, let's be honest, a classical marketing trick, there are truth to it if you look at the other stuff. So the underlying issue normally around sales mindset are two. First of all, a wrong skill set, but the more important part, the lack of confidence. The lack of confidence You cannot mask a lack of confidence with just fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it is kind of a nice, still a quick fix, but it's not a long-term strategy to fix the underlying problems that you get into your head and really lacking in the sales confidence department. One big myth to bust is, let's say you don't have the biggest sales confidence, but probably you're a very confident person in another kind of run. You are good at speaking on stage, or you can cook, or you're even a confident person in many other fields, but you probably, like most entrepreneurs, you're not the most confident around your sales. So that's not saying anything about your value or being a good person. It's just that there's a special kind of skill set necessary to work on your own sales confidence. And sales, because it's a mixture of, you need a high degree of empathy and a high degree of resilience. That's why sales confidence is so essential. So essential on that field of that you can really work and go out in the world and have fun with telling people that it's a good idea to buy stuff from you. It's a confidence problem, and it's a very specific niche in the confidence, so sales confidence. So your first takeaways, if you look at the last episodes, take it as it is. Sales mindset work is always quick fixes. So if you're not doing the same as I'm doing, you do a Facebook Live for your page or YouTube or whatever, and you need that kind of like, I have to do that for my business growth, then take these sales mindset tricks and fixes to get you in that kind of headspace. But don't believe, or don't even think about that it will help you in the long run. What will help you in the long run is to work on the deeper points of your sales confidence. And there's also, again, like switching over the kind of second step, and that is a big part of unlearning. Some of you probably heard about the concept of unlearning. Others are probably thinking, is that even a word? Yes, it is. So unlearning is a relatively new word in the last years. It came up, and because there was kind of like the world was about talking about learning processes, and we have to learn that and we have to learn that. But what is about that stuff we learned which is just plain wrong, or it's not anymore applicable to the time and age are we in? Think about when I started out working in consulting, which is now over 20 years back. I did that already while studying. The whole workflow, the whole work process was a totally different ball game. You remember video conferences? Yeah, like these very, very expensive systems you needed for that. And now what do I need? Yes, I have a new, very pretty called Red Devil computer standing there, but it's nothing like what is needed in the room of to do that. So what you learned how to work even, it's kind of that thing is like, okay, is that even applicable today? Of course not. Some stuff is, but what stuff? And then if you look at the confidence part, it's very much stuff that you have to unlearn, that you probably have to unlearn on a deeper level. Let's say you're female and you probably was raised that not speaking loudly or not engage lively, stuff you learn, not stuff you come deep out of your personality. So you have to unlearn that. Or probably you're an introvert and you had to learn that to be successful in sales, you have to be extroverted, which is totally bullshit. You can be as an introvert as you want to be. Always remember, I'm autistic. So yes, and autistic means always a certain degree of introvert stuff. Yes, I can be extroverted, but it's more like a stage thing and a very long story. If you ever wanted to know why I look that extroverted, drop a line and I will tell you in one kind of these little videos how that came up with. But unlearning is an essential part, and unlearning also happens in the room of personal development, but especially also on the skill level. It's not like we're not using a typewriter anymore and stuff like that. Our digital stuff is working like, you have to archive stuff digital and probably hard copy and stuff like that. So even in the little things we see how unlearning has to happen. And if you look at the confidence, especially the sales confidence part, there is a hell of work to do on the unlearning part. And that's kind of like the sales confidence part. And then we're switching over to the sales skills part. And on the sales skills part, depending if you ever attended a sales class, you have to probably unlearn even more. Funny little story. So my dad was the head of chief operating officer of a company and head of sales and everything. And when I did started out in that stuff, and then I went to like my first real sales seminar, which was already even before that, but now like in university setting. And I was like totally irritated about what we learned there. And then when I come home and told my dad from university home, and like, I don't know, all that stuff. And then you have to like these arguments and that sales script. And he was looking at me and started laughing. And my dad had that deep, deep belly laugh. We were like, really, everyone was laughing with him, no matter what. And he's like, that's not really, they still teaching that shit. I'm like, yeah, and it sounded like it was new. No, I had that same sales script back in the early 70s. Yeah, early 70s. And then it already was kind of probably 10 years old. I'm like, okay, great, thank you. So I'm learning stuff now in the 2001 or 2, which was in the early 70s, already outdated, but nobody took care of that. Yes, nobody took care of that, because there's one weird thing about sales. While it's kind of the most important thing to keep a company alive, it's not kind of thing which like theories and science and university and even, let's be honest, even corporates don't really kind of emphasizes. You just have like a natural sales skills and then you do your job, which is totally wrong. So considering now why unlearning is such a big part, and now tying that all together, you probably understand why sales mindset is just a quick fix. Follow my train of thought. So you learn a certain degree of sales skills, what is called hard sales, which was outdated already in the 60s, or at least in the 70s. We still use it today, and it's no match for human behavior. It's no match. So it's more like you should be surprised that your client even buys. So your client buys even with your bad sales tactic. It's not because he's buying off your good sales tactic. So keep that in mind. And then there comes in the sales mindset part. Because what do you tell your clients if you teach them bad sales techniques that really don't work and doesn't resonate with their clients? What do you tell them on what should now change? Right. Don't change the tactic and the communication. No, change the person. It's a bad mindset you have. No, I don't have a bad sales mindset. I just was taught wrong. But considering that the market has a very extreme focus on not client psychology, but sales psychology, which is totally really not really sciencey and just mostly awful because it's propagandic manipulative techniques, not a deep like connection with the human-centered spirit and a kind of connection on a, like, let's say, ethical level. So of course you have to tell the salespeople they're bad salespeople because their mindset is not on track. That's all the shebang which goes on in the background of that mindset discussion. While mindset as a total and how the term comes into a term, how we use it today, is not the same that it was used around 35 years back, also in science. It moved to that superficial stuff of quick fixes, and especially a very blame argumentative side. So if you don't perform well, it's your mindset. It's never that you was taught wrong. It's never that you have probably a misunderstanding of what is necessary for the job, considering like now that thing that every sales has to be very extroverted and has to be kind of also in sports. And also, you know, that thing about that sales is never kind of like highly correlated with the deep knowledge. Yeah, that's all. Everything is not true what I just told you. You can do sales like that, but it's not like that is necessary to be like that or anything else. So sales mindset will and is always have been a quick fix. It helps you to put you in the right headspace, see every episode you saw before at that kind of stuff. See it as a quick fix to help yourself for your next Facebook video, for the next blog article you're writing, the next YouTube video you publish. But if you really want to do epic sales, epic shit, and of course earn a hell lot of money with it, you have to think reverse. You have to learn that if you have You're kind of to get on with your sales, you have to work on your sales confidence, and also you have to work on your sales skills, and both have a high part of unlearning. It's not about making a hard sales, it's showing that you can stuff do. And that unlearning part, believe me, after thousands and thousands of sales training, online, in person, in-house, external, open seminars, workshops for students, project managers, entrepreneurs, and whole corporates, believe me, that unlearning part is one of that cornerstones where stuff really gets hard. Karen just posted, in her field, unlearning is kind of the same thing. Someone read like 10 wrong books and you're sitting there with your client and like, great, that's now not gonna work. Ask a doctor what happens if a patient said that I googled my symptoms, I now have, yeah, that's kind of the same thing. So you will know that also from your expertise, that people come with very wrong impressions and sometimes even a totally wrong knowledge or a wrongly established behavior. And a mindset shift can never change the behavior, and it will never help you out on the real skill level. But where mindset will help you is to get to that space, to be open about, okay, I probably should try something else before I read the next 1,250 books on mindset stuff. So if you want to do epic stuff, understand that it's about confidence, that it's about a certain degree of skill level, and always come from the position of you have interest. So the dirtiest of dirtiest, no, it's not a dirty sales trick. It's literally the most essential skill in sales. And if you really look at your numbers now and say like, damn, I need to amp up my sales, but I don't have the time to hire me or come into a sales training or whatever, then start at that point. Be interested in people. Be interested in listening to them and ask them questions. Where they are, what they think about, how they're doing, and listen to them. And be interested. From a real deep connection about interested in a person, in their problems. And then probably, yes, you all have a solution or even are the solution to their problem. But it starts with that deep interest. And if you have that deep interest and combine it with a certain degree of enthusiasm and passion about what your company is doing, what your product is doing, that's when the magic happens. So if you really say, I'm so bad at sales, I like people, that's perfect. If you like people or interested in people and can be very enthusiastic about what your stuff does and how your business works or how your services works, that's really kind of the basic skill set. That's all that's needed. And it doesn't matter if you do that on the very introverted style. It doesn't matter if you do it in the very extroverted style. It just matters that you show up, be interested in the person in front of you. It doesn't matter if it's behind a camera and I don't know how many people are there, or if you're just interested in a one-on-one connection. Easy and the starting point with a one-on-one connection. But you will get there. And then being enthusiastic about what do you have in your portfolio, what you can offer. And if it's a match, of course, offer. If your solution matches their problem, that's everything you need. And that's why that sales mindset is always so misleading, because it tells you that you were a little bit wrong. Sometimes it even tells you that you're a hell lot of wrong, but that's never true. It can be that you have learned bullshit stuff, but this wasn't your fault. It wasn't like you decided, no, I know already that it's bullshit stuff, I learned it. That wasn't the story. So you just learned it like everyone learned our stuff. So if you want to go further with us, follow us in the next weeks. We do more on the sales skills part, we do more on the epic shit part, we do more on the sales confidence part, and especially there will be in the really kind of like how to use sales tactics to amp up your sales. How not to be a dirty salesperson, but a really kind of white hack. The white hat of dirty sales tricks. How to do it the human way, the behavioral way, and then get people engaged with you and have fun with you on your sales process. And that's kind of like why I'm happy that we're finally done with the sales mindset part and moving on to the stuff which will not help you, which will not only, sorry, rephrase that, not only help you on the short term, but especially will help you on the long term. And yes, as I already told you, it can be a little bit of a challenging process because unlearning is one hard thing to do, but it's so worth. So as always, we have a little bit of time left. So if you have any kind of questions, ask your questions, comment, like, and share. And especially tell us what you like about our English versions, or if you like our German version better, no matter what it is. We're happy to provide, and if you want a very special session of Salespiration for you, always write us. We always do kind of like trying to do a little bit more personal touch on that. And I'm happy to see you all again in the next week. And if you're on the German speaking part, remember there is something coming up this Saturday, and the German drawdown is always also on Tuesdays, double, because it's Salespiration time and virtual workshop time, and also on Wednesday mornings with our Good Morning Talk Show. So I wish you all a pleasantly happy rest week. Rock your sales, rock your businesses, and get into that headspace where you use the sales mindset just as quick fixes and understand that being interested in persons and people, doesn't matter, and enthusiastic about what you have developed, what can offer in your company. It's kind of the magic ingredients which help you out a very, very long way. So see you and talk soon, and have a great week. Bye.